always tired till I hit a little guitar part. It's funky.
It's that kick coming in for me. It's that kick.
Ooh. P.U. I know who it is. It got some stank on it, though. First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Shout out 630 crew. I already got a word from Beth. Thank you for checking in this morning. Time to get up, move your body. Good morning, good morning. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd.
Yeah.
Y'all feeling funky this morning too? Hey. That's right. Fresh edition of First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning. It's like the third time, man.
I know, man. Hey, man. I like your voice. What can I say?
All right.
You got a nice singing voice, buddy.
Hey.
Give you some harmonies on there. Hey, I appreciate you guys joining us this morning. I see a lot of folks over on YouTube already. That's what's up. Hey. Appreciate you very much. Leigh Keister says, Wowza Wednesday. Good morning. Good morning to you. Appreciate you up so early.
Wow.
Pop says, good morning, fam. Welcome Women's Wednesday. You know this is his favorite day, so that's what's up. Christy Norse gives us a good morning. Also, Wanda Lewis says, good morning from Facebook. Appreciate you over there on Facebook. Rome's Review says, shake it but don't break it. Took your mama 9 months to make it.
All right.
There you go. Old school lyrics from Mara Sanchez.
The mayor.
There you go. And Mama God gives us a good morning, First Sky fam, over there on Facebook.
Hey.
Good morning to you, Mama God. How you doing?
Yeah. My dukes.
There you go. How you doing over there, buddy? How you feeling?
Man, I'm a little tired, but it's par for the course. I'm all right though. Glad to be here. As just mentioned that kick. It's that first kick on that opening jam right there. Just that
Get you going. Huh?
Yeah, man, get you going. So yeah, man, top of the morning to everybody that's coming in with us. Hopefully you're not as tired, as you get your day started. Yeah, I got to do better on my sleep schedule, man. I'll be honest, man. Burning the candle on both ends too often.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you too young to be tired every day like that. You gotta.
No, I don't just be tired, man. I don't really be getting enough rest. That's what it is. Sleep is important. And I, kind of side note, I'm hearing more and more people get away from that kind of hustle culture, sleep when I die mentality. People like, no, rest. Yeah, rest. Yeah. So gotta get it.
That's right. You certainly do, man. And I have had to learn that the hard way myself because I think Gen X in general kind of came up not sleeping. It's really kind of like a thing, and then all of a sudden we got hip to it, and I'll take a nap in a hot minute. As soon as my eyes get heavy. Hey, I gotta take a break. I'll be back.
Hey man, nothing wrong with a fiesta dog. So yeah, I'm all for it, man. Definitely get your rest. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad to be here. Glad to talk about the things and just engage with the public. So I always enjoy doing this endeavor and this experience. So yeah, I'm glad to be here. But other than that, man, still just going through the hustle and bustle of the house hunt. Still in the middle of that. Clock kind of ticking, man. On the lease. So yeah, kind of. Facing the realities of the housing situation that's, rocking the nation, man, not just Nebraska, not just Georgia, but from sea to shining sea, if you will. So, dealing with that. But other than that, man, all is well. Everything is everything moving forward. Excited for the new year. A lot of things to be hopeful about and look forward to. So, Yeah, 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 yeah. Just trying to put my foot in front of the next. One foot in front of the other.
Heard that. We're in season 5 right now of First Sky Omaha in the morning. We've deemed teamwork makes the dream work,
Yeah, man.
and it is the truth. We've been saying it. 7:05 right now, if you believe in the concept of time, and this is February 1st, first day of the month, which
Already.
used to be I don't know what it used to mean before. It used to mean rent, but it just means rent to me.
That's about it. That's about it.
It's the first of the month, rent time. But this is also the first of Black History Month, so be looking for a whole
True.
bunch of stuff going on there, right? A lot of events happening this year, and a lot of them centered around hip hop because this is the 50th anniversary of hip hop. So I'm seeing a whole lot of stuff pop up here. There's events and things like that going on. So most definitely try to get your even Cinco de Mayo. We trying to get some.
I feel like my chair is sinking. I'm sorry. I'm like, am I getting lower? Like, what?
What's going on?
Sorry.
Before he's gonna dip out of the bottom of the screen
Man,
there.
just
I was gonna say, yeah, we are planning some stuff over at the Benson Theater, even with trying to find some MCs, man, from
okay.
some Mexican cats. There's one dude named Tomasi that I like a lot out here in Omaha. I'm gonna try to hit him up and see if he wants to come out of retirement and
Wait,
see what's
wait.
going on.
You said MCs, so are you talking about like actual MCs or Mexican cats, like MC Mexican?
MCs,
Oh,
right?
okay, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, man. 50th anniversary of hip hop, so we gonna celebrate all year for sure.
Man,
And Pops in the chat says, yeah, nap is a beautiful thing. I heard that. That's what's
beautiful.
going on. Amy Huffles gives us a good morning, fam. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming on through. Love to hear about any updates that's going on in the towers over there too. So if you have any, let us know. Throw them in the chat. Lucia Rodriguez says, Buenos dias, Buenos dias, Buenos dias. I love it. I love it. I
Hey.
love it. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming on in. Rome's Reviews giving us a number for YouTube. We're getting close to that 200 mark we're looking for. 183 subscribers.
Okay.
That's what's up. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Rick
Yes,
Fulton
so
gives us a good morning. Good morning to you as well. Mark Manner says good morning from YouTube. All
top of the
right,
morning.
y'all
Yeah,
easing
welcome
on
back,
in.
brother Rick. Welcome back, brother Rick.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate you coming on through. I hope you like what you heard the last time. So yeah, become a regular listener, man. We need all the people we can, all the voices we can in here, so we can really have some discussion. So just appreciate everybody getting up this morning, easing on in, and yeah, we're doing the same this morning, easing in. Ty Williams says good morning. It is cold out here this morning. It's supposed to get to like 30 degrees out here though today. So
Mm,
we'll see. Rick Fulton says I'm afraid to go West Omaha Target. We're gonna talk about it.
man, man.
Made national news this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my question. My question was what did everybody do when you got the news about the shooting in Target? Well, yeah, I got the first news I got was there's an active shooter at Target. So the first thing I wanted to do was find out which Target we were talking about.
Mm,
And then I called everybody, the family, and just was like, y'all out shopping? What where you at? Just check in with everybody. And I was just wondering if everybody else did that kind of thing like I did. What did you guys do when you heard about an active shooter at Target yesterday in Omaha, Nebraska?
man.
Yeah, let us know in the chat. What's your procedure for those types of things?
It's even crazy that we gotta have a procedure. You know what I mean? Like I remember, the Columbine situation, and it was just like, man, like, oh, that's crazy. Like, oh man, I never thought anything like that would happen. Like, oh man, this is an anomaly. And now it's like, again, yeah, we'll be talking about it, man. That's a crazy, crazy situation. From what I read though, nobody, was hurt, so that's definitely good. Make
Well,
sure
the
you are
shooter
checked.
shooter got killed, so
Well, that part,
yeah.
but check on your loved ones. That's definitely a good point. Call your people, see what's going on. How are you doing?
You
Paul?
talking about you asking me?
Yeah.
I'm fine, man. I'm cool. Just like I said, just on the grind right now. Just trying to get through to the next day, man. And we do since we've been doing this show. The reality of the news hits a little differently. So
Mhm.
it really is like I mean, back in the day, you was afraid about drive by shootings and stuff like that, but that was only if you was in in-gang
Rose Place.
culture or certain parts of the hood or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It got a little scary for a minute because it seemed like drive-by shootings was happening randomly, but that was the news media messing up the stories. It wasn't. It was very rarely random. But we live in a day and age now of random shootings, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know if you're gonna
Yeah.
go to the grocery store and get shot. Or
Movie theater.
I heard somebody last night say, Target is my sanctuary place. I go there to have some peace and buy stuff I don't need. I don't need it to get shot up. So, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, it's one of them things that you got to kind of think about that every time you go anywhere now, because now there's this threat of just random violence.
Yeah.
Rick Fulton in the chat said, "What I and others want to know is why that Target guy had all the opportunity, all the weaponry, but he didn't shoot anybody." Yeah, he apparently walked in with a AR-15 or 14 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is a whole, we don't really usually talk about shootings and stuff like that, but this is kind of a whole other deal because of what's going on in the legislature right now with the with the gun stuff that they're talking about out there,
Man.
and and wanting this to be a state where you don't have to have a permit to have a concealed carry, no permit, no background check, no nothing, just have a gun. They fighting to have that out here. We got stuff going on like AR-15s in Target.
Yeah.
Mark Manor said I had to run back to Twitter, which is sad. As toxic as it is, still the best place to get news quickly. We need a social media alternative. Interesting. Yeah. Very true, man. Very true. I kind of ran to Twitter too to see what was going on when I heard. I looked around first on Facebook, and then jumped to Twitter to see if anybody was like live tweeting or anything at the time. So it just shows you again, man. You ain't waiting for Channel 7 to get down there with the cameras. There's people that are talking online right now about what's happening, and it's part of our procedure now to kind of look on the social medias and see.
Yeah, I mean, just all the way around a different information landscape. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's different. Can you trust the news? That's a different question. But it is definitely a different information landscape. So, yeah.
Yep.
Each one teach one, I guess.
There you go. We asked Amy Huffless to give us an update on the tower stuff. She says, we had a good meeting with the person who runs resident services for OHA. Very open about how underfunded they are. Seemed open to help, but we will see if there will be follow through from their team.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So definitely one part of it. Definitely would like to hear about whether or not any of the tenants were talked to, and if anybody who was in trouble got helped as well. So we'll definitely keep on looking into these situations. And just trying to figure out what's going on. So appreciate the update very much. Thank you. We love this idea of trying to support groups of action. Groups of people taking action on some things that's going on in our neighborhoods and helping where we can, and so on and so forth. So, speaking of which, we're also going to talk a little bit today about what's going on in the legislature. There's a bus. Preston Love's bus is taking off today at 11 o'clock from 72nd and Dodge area.
Yep.
In order to go up to Lincoln and help support some of the senators that are running some of the bills that we agree with and all that good stuff. So
several bills today. So yeah, we'll definitely be talking about some of those, and also a few other bills to look out for. And, of course, we will be getting into the Omaha shooting situation at Target, and really continue our conversation about guns and gun culture in general, and really police culture, and just culture, really, of course, reminding people that today will be the day that Brother Tyree Nichols will be laid to rest as well. So definitely sending love and condolences and just positive energy to the city of Memphis, and specifically his family, the Nichols family. So be giving mention about that. But yeah, that's kind of what we'll be talking about today. Of course, it is Women's Wednesday, so expecting the ladies, but we will see. But in the meantime, in between time, it is about 15 minutes into the hour. So let's go ahead and get this thing started off the right way. Buddi3 Da Gawd, Paul B, all of you out there, for Sky Omaha Hump Day edition. Let's go.
Good morning. What up? What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, thanks for joining us on this February the 1st,
Yeah, man.
2023, first of the month, first of
It's the
Black
first
History
of the
Month.
month.
Yeah, let us know some of the things that you got going on and some of the plans that you got going on for Black History Month. A lot of events, a lot of things going on. So we of course we try to cover them all, but we usually learn from y'all exactly what's going on in our neighborhoods as well, as far as events and things are concerned. So let us know if you're involved in any of those things, and we'll definitely try to keep you posted on what's happening on Black History Month. In the chat, real quick, Leia Keeser says the Omaha mayor in a speech just cited today's shooting in a Target store in which a man was allegedly firing an AR-15 as an example of how safe our city is because the police killed him and no one got shot. Yeah, I did see. As a matter of fact, I saw a post by Michael Scott this morning as well, who tweeted or put out on Facebook. They got the call. They were within 6 minutes. The man was dead. So that's how fast the police got there and shot this dude.
Mm.
Rick Fulton says OPD shot and killed 2 people in 2 days, and both of them were white. What's up with that? I don't know about the white part, but yeah, there was a burglar. There was another shooting as a matter of fact, we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But yeah, lots of things going on here with the police and some shootings, and interesting that it made national news this morning. But that's what happens when you bring an AR-15 to Target somewhere, I guess. So yeah, appreciate the comments. Give us more information if you heard anything else. I was wondering what the mayor was going to say about that, so that's interesting. Yeah. But in the meantime, between time, let's get it rolling, buddy. What you?
Yeah. Well, a lot of conversation about the shooting, but we'll get into that because all of this is kind of leading us back to the Bills, and that's kind of where the season is kind of starting off. This is where the conversation is leading us, as our legislative session in the state of Nebraska gets back underway again. Over 800 or so bills being proposed, being debated in this session. And if you kind of pay attention, like First Sky Omaha has been. We didn't intend it to be this. This is just kind of what it's ending up being as far as like a civic course. And it's like one step after another. Again, Freedom Summer. We were all about protest and voicing, civic engagement, getting out in the streets, boots to the roots, if you will, and then the ballot of the bullet, getting to the polls. But now, once you do those things, the next step, of course, is supporting the fight in the legislative session. So several bills to look out for. Big shout out to Brother Preston Love Jr., who, as Paul mentioned earlier, will be sending a bus out to Lincoln. I believe at 11 is when that is set to go off. So, you can go ahead and check us out here on First Sky Omaha and then head over to 72nd. And, you should be able to make it by then and get over to Lincoln, because there are several bills that are being discussed on the floor today. One bill actually had been discussed yesterday, and is causing quite a division, as headlines are reading. I'll just use that. This out of Omaha World Herald. Again, dozens of teachers and parents filled the halls of Nebraska Capitol yesterday to speak for and against a bill centered around parental control in the schools, which is definitely one of the topics that we need to address as these sessions get geared up, because a lot of us have children in schools. A lot of us, and there are a few of us actually that are child care providers. So big shout out to y'all. But even if you're not, a parent or a child care provider, and you're just a member of the community, we're learning just how much of an impact, what happens in our schools has in our community. And LB 374 is kind of addressing some of that. Will require schools to adopt a policy giving parents access to review learning materials in schools. And will also give parents an opportunity to object or withdraw their students from lessons or activities in which materials are used that conflict with quote unquote parents' firmly held beliefs, values, or principles, which is something interesting. Again, there's about $1 billion being proposed to be invested into Nebraska's education system, I guess. I don't really think that's the right word, but into Nebraska's education, and several bills are being proposed as well. Again, I believe the senators, when we spoke to them on Friday, they mentioned exactly, how that budget, the governor's budget, and what that $1 billion will actually look like, where it will go. And as I believe Senator Wayne mentioned, a lot of that is not coming to OPS. So again, as a community, we talked about in the past the white flight, quote unquote, people, parents taking their students out of OPS, and now parents might be giving even more control about what happens in our schools. What are your thoughts? Is this a concern? What do we
Yeah,
see?
it's kind of interesting story to me. Just listening to what happened there, and I missed that session, even though I tried to get up and post it, but I missed the session where they were having the debates. But for me, that's the major part of it, is that most of the money that is being proposed is really not coming to OPS at all, which I feel like, first of all, OPS has a huge budget anyway. You know,
Mhm.
we talk about that all the time. That their budget is huge, and we always are trying to say, well, where is that money going? But if they have other, if they're going to put that much money in infrastructure where you'll be able to get online and look and see what all the teachers are going to be teaching, and what the curriculum is, and you have control on whether or not you want to pull your kid out for certain things. That's a pretty big I don't know, build or infrastructure situation there. And if it's only going to sounds like it's only going to be in certain places too.
Mhm.
I'm not really sure, but it's we've gone back to this idea, this talk before about whether indoctrination. We've talked about this several times on the show, and with you, the chat chimers, you guys have chimed in on exactly what we're talking about here. What's this? To me, that's where my mind goes with it. Indoctrination. One hand we talk about you sending a kid to school, and that kid is getting indoctrinated in one way. Or we talk about indoctrination from the home.
Mhm.
How much are you indoctrinating? Whose responsibility is it to do that with the child? Does this give parents more control, who are more inclined to teach their kids their beliefs? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Pretty interesting stuff. Just like everything that's happening right now with education and Governor Pillin. We go back and forth. It sounds great that he's asking for more money in the system, but at the same time, where's the money going? Out
Mhm.
west.
Right. Right.
Um, More control over what your kids are being taught. But then again, um, you know, we live in a climate right now where they have, in Florida, they've taken away African American studies. You know
Man.
what I'm saying? So it's always like, which which part of this thing is a good thing or a bad thing. And so anyway, that's where my mind goes with it, and that's what I'm like, oh, can't wait to get on the show and talk about this, see what the chat chimers are thinking about it, because you can go either way on that.
Yeah.
Um,
S
Ghost Listener 402 brought up a good point too. No North Omaha voice for the education bill yesterday. Is that right? Nobody from North Omaha went, and there was no representation for OPS or our schools or our side of town or anything there. That's interesting. Um, yeah, let us know. Precious is already in the chat. She says they want to. Good morning to you. She says they want to give it to private schools, that
Yep.
money.
Yep, I was going to mention that. I mean, you take a quick glance at the bill, or not really the bill, but the link that Senator Wayne shared with us on Friday, and I believe you can go to the governor's website to look at that, proposed budget. But yeah, if you look through it really quickly, you'll see that there is language to support, take some of that money from public schools and support private and charter schools, which is very, very interesting. Given just kind of the conversation and the Republican agenda surrounding charter and private schools, which there has been some conversation on either side of the aisle, if you will, in support of charter schools. Actually, there are some um, case studies, if you will, or some examples around the country about charter schools in low income neighborhoods that have started some things, sparked some things, have high graduation rates. I believe there's academies in Chicago, academies in Florida. I believe there's some academies down here in Georgia as well that kind of have that model. So it is a very good question. It's a very interesting and nuanced conversation as far as who has what say and how much power and what children are learning, and who's listening to the children. What part of that is playing into it as well. But according to the person who introduced this bill, State Senator Dave Merman of Glenville, Nebraska, he says above all else, this bill aims to make clear that every parent is the foremost decision maker in every child's life, which I find hard to disagree or to argue against. At the end of the day, it does start and end at home, and who's in control of the home? Hopefully, the parents. And then, it is kind of regardless of what curriculum is pushed or what curriculum there is in public schools. Is it being supported or opposed when that child goes home? When that child goes home, our parents say, "No, this is," so that can already be happening, or whether or not parents should have say so in the schools. I don't agree. I feel like the best approach for all of this is twofold. I don't think it should be an either or situation. I think there should be support and resources for parents and people to have cultural education, because there's different cultures, different people come from different backgrounds, families have different beliefs. Like, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And you should be able to learn that and, be engulfed in that. But we should also, like for Sky, we should also have a basis of understanding across those cultures. We should also have a basis of something that we can, interact on. And I think that's where, the public school comes in. You should be able to learn things like general history. You should be able to learn things like science, math, STEM, technology. Those things should be in the schools, like public schools. That should be accessible to everybody. But I do think also outside of that, parents and families should be given the resources to educate their children about their own cultures, because that's not in the schools. Which, should it be, shouldn't it be? That's debatable. But if it's not going to be, there should at least be resources for that to be taught somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm going to go to the chat. William King in the chat. What's going on? 95.7, the boss in the house. He says it's time to educate our own, and they're definitely leaning towards leaning towards that idea. About especially in this day and age, like I said, where they're trying to ban books. Toni Morrison's Bluest Eye just got banned. In certain other states, they're trying to ban African American studies. Like we've been talking about for a while, we've been talking about critical race theory and how that's how they they use that as a buzzword in order to come in and just take books away, take learning away about culture and stuff like that. And you're right, like it's a debate on whether or not culture ought to be taught. I don't, history should be taught in the correct history should be taught, sure. But that's a lot of questions with that, and I always lean towards this idea of homeschool, and especially as black culture has to educate. We have to take the kids over to African American bookstore and get books and study about stuff that has never been taught in schools for our culture. So Wanda Lewis says, "Will schools keep mythology?" You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Good question. Also, jumping in the chat just a little bit further up. Precious says she's on her way. That's what's up. Appreciate you. Also, Ghost Listener 402 says a lot of advocates for religion and LGBT. Okay. When they were talking there, they want to give to private school. She already said that. Amy Huffless says the Ricketts family has a charter school.
There you go. There you go.
Rick Fulton says Wayne wants to do bad to my alma mater, West Side High. Yeah, give us some explanation on that. Let us know what you mean by that.
No
William
context.
King, yes, please. William King says it's time to educate our own. Also, Ghost Listener 402, North Oak Private School was photo op for governor. Interesting. Marianne Williams says I'd like to see black and brown charters. Some charters are good for goods, some are not, but there are some great charters for minorities. HBCUs are creating feeder charter schools.
Man, that's what I like to hear. Well, actually, that already exists. Now that I think about it, my school, FAMU, they had a high school. It was actually like right outside the campus. So like literally, yeah, there was a feeder high school in the community. And it was like a junior college. Like they had the same band, same colors, same mascot, kind of like Creighton Prep when you think about it. But it was for an HBCU. So yeah, I'm all for that. But then again, that's something that was in the South. I would like to see that, more throughout the country.
Man, it's interesting, man. Just think about school and just the system and the charters and public school system, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of time we're debating about what should go in the public school system, which most kids are, and that's really kind of the deal. Sometimes the answer is start your own school, which is like the charter school idea or private school idea,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then you got a lot of separation because you be in one charter school for black and brown kids learning one thing, white kids ain't over there, and they're in their charter school not learning about any of
Exactly.
that history.
Exactly.
How do you reconcile that?
Which is why
Uh,
I said what I said.
which thing?
As far as having both, having twofold, like the thing is people are learning a general history not knowing who they are and where they fit in that history. But if you had, some kind of resources or some kind of cultural background, some kind of understanding of who you were in that, that's what a lot of kids are missing, and that's where a lot of kids are falling through the cracks. And not That's what they're missing, is that it's okay to for somebody to teach me like a European centric history. If I know who I am, then I can find myself through that without them having to tell me. You know what I
I'm
mean?
I'm speaking more about uh fine, we have a school that tells us about who we are more. But if the white kids ain't sitting there listening to that, they don't have they don't get that part of our history. And then there's still a big separation, lack of understanding going on there. If the best bet we have is public schools, where most kids go, and there needs to be some equal learning going on over there, so both cultures can understand what's going on. I mean, that's to me that you going down a real path if everybody has a separate school,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
one school's learning one history, other school's learning a different history. Jumping back into the chat real quick, Kimara Snipes says, good morning. She's coming in as well pretty soon here. Rick Fulton says, Senator Lee Linehan every year tries to destroy public schools, yet her son is graduate of West Side. Interesting. Rose Review says, there's enough history in America with most cultures that parents could be giving choices if they choose for their children not to take part in certain lessons. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a slippery slope on that. Which one
Mm-hmm.
you choose? Marianne Williams says, just like Creighton Prep. Yep. Ghost Listeners 402. Last North Omaha charter failed. Is that right? Yeah, I'd like to hear about that story. Some information there. Kimmer Stein says, check out Marquise Klein from Chicago. He started school in his basement over 20 years ago and now has a whole curriculum geared towards black students. But you can do from your own home. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I've seen that in California. I've seen that in Hawaii, where schools are who want to focus on different things are popping up. But again, like, what do you do with the general public? Um, how do you get some understand? To me, you're even further separating. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I say it has to be both. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
It has to be both. Because if you have a general education and people get lost, like just people are going to get lost in the sauce. Somebody's going to fall through the cracks in this general thing, but we all have to have a basis of understanding. So we all have to come together, but also we all have to that's how America is built of different cultures, and we should acknowledge that and lean into it and not try to erase. Like that's why when people say I don't see color, like I understand that my people have a different historical background and continuity than your people. You know what I mean? And that's okay. Like my household, you might be my cousin, but my household is ran differently than your household. So I can understand, like, we need to understand those nuances. Like we can be different and same at the same time. Like we can acknowledge our differences and acknowledge our similarities. And to kind of wrap up my point, I'll just give an example of how I raise and educate my son, who is in public school, but we also attend a Moorish Science Temple, which is a cultural organization much similar to the Nation of Islam. So my son,
I don't disagree with what you're saying about how we need to have our own. We need to be teaching our own culture. What I'm saying is that there's nothing about the Moorish Science Temple that anybody at your son's public school is learning. He's learning something. He's learning the history about himself, and he can assert that. But at the same time, he's going to a public school where now he's got to, he's around a bunch of people that didn't get that information, that don't understand his context, who he is, and what's going on. And there's further separation because of that. You know what I'm saying?
I would disagree, because there was actually a international night at my son's school, so we were able to go to the school, and each people, like, he was able to tell his classmates about his culture, and they were learning. And there were kids who were like, "Hey, Heaven, oh, I didn't know this is who you were. Oh, I didn't know this," and like there was a cultural exchange. That's
Yeah,
how
but
it's supposed
the
to be.
cultural exchange is different from curriculum, man. They all year long he learned about American history. They learned about George Washington and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that's yeah, they can get introduced, but I'm talking about being educated in it. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. We gonna bring Precious in on this. She's in the
Go ahead,
wings.
go ahead. I mean, I get what you're saying, but yeah, go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, Precious McKesson, we are now politicking with P. Good morning.
Hey,
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
The legislature got you hot already? You got your church plan out?
No, yeah, it's I don't like staying in these hotels because they have no windows. So it's like I have to then rush outside to be able to get that fresh air in, and I'm getting to that point now. I've been in here too long.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Where are you at?
I'm in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
Go Eagles.
Okay. Yeah. Business or pleasure?
Business. Oh, it's never y'all would, if you see me eat for pleasure, you'll be like, oh, dang, we're
chilling.
Okay, that's what's going on. All right. Well, what you got going on then?
Yeah.
So we meet as a group, as the executive directors and the chairs and the vice chairs of the party. We meet every other month or every 3 months. It depends on what's going on. At the end of the year, it's normally the beginning of the year and the end of the year always kind of coincide with each other. But we have ASDC meetings with that's all the associated chairs and directors. We all come together, and then we also have our DNC meetings. So we have our national delegates. We all come together, and so we will be voting on the early states who will be voting early in the 2024 election. And I don't know if we're voting on national convention, but anyways, yeah, we have a lot of business to take care of, and so we're here in Philadelphia handling business.
Okay, that's what's up.
Making it happen.
Yeah.
Making it happen. Well, we appreciate
Asking
you.
For the money.
Huh?
Asking for the money.
Yeah. Hey. That's where this begins and ends.
Yes.
We appreciate you even while you're traveling, getting on the show with us and politicking a little bit. So really appreciate that. Did you hear about the shooting yesterday? First of all,
I did. Actually, I got alert because everybody. If you know me, if you really know me, you know that Target is like one of my favorite stores. Like honestly, Target is like. It's really bad. Like I go to Target any state I go in. Like I literally yesterday looked out the window and found spotted a Target from the floor of my hotel room. So that's how much I go to Target. Like literally, I'm thinking about having a birthday party that's just everybody has to come dressed up as a Target employee. Like that's how serious it is. I love Target. But anyways, yeah, I heard about it yesterday. I got an alert, and it's very sad. And then last night found out that Meg Mandy had actually been in the store when that took place. And so, for anyone who knows Meg Mandy, knows she was Tony Vargas's campaign manager, as well as she's worked, heavily in politics. Send a prayer out to her. Keep her in your thoughts. Keep her in your thoughts, because that's something that's very traumatic to have to go through. And she posted it. She did, and the only reason I'm saying it because she did post it publicly on Twitter that she was there. And I did reach out to her personally just to tell her, take all the time you need, hug your babies. I can't imagine being in a store and that happening, because I was really like maybe 10 minutes from going to Von Mar when the mass shooting happened. And the only thing that kept me from going to Von Mar that day, because I was taking an early lunch break to meet one of my friends. I was going to go by Taylor, who was at the time, I think Taylor was maybe 2 years old, maybe 1 or 2. Maybe a little bit older, maybe 3 or 4. But I was going to buy her a pair of Uggs because I wanted her to have Uggs for Christmas, and literally would have been in that department because the children's department is on the top floor. And the young lady Maggie, who lost her life there when I was pregnant with Taylor, I would always buy my clothes from Von Mar for Taylor. And so I knew her by going in because that was the first credit card I ever had. And I would always have to go upstairs and pay my bill on the customer service. So I think about all these times when these things happen because, you know, just being if that one call, I worked next to Kellogg's at a call center doing finance loans, and my call took too long. And I didn't make, so as I'm driving to Von Mar, getting on the interstate to get off on the roundabout right by the Regency, that's when I see all the commotion. And one of my girlfriends was in there, and we always, I tell this and I'll make it quick, we always would go to the bathroom upstairs because number one, we would shop up there and the bathroom was clean upstairs because they have a mother room. So it's always, Von Mar has very clean bathrooms. And Glanisha had her son's leather coat, and she didn't want to lug it all the way upstairs because outside of the shoe department, there's a tailor area where you can get where at the time you can get your stuff, your clothes hemmed or tailored or whatever. And she had his coat and she didn't want to carry it up the stairs. So instead she went out to the tailor, and that's when it happened. She was outside in the area dropping off her son's coat. So yeah, it was very much so. Really sad what happened yesterday. I was a little offended by one comment by the media, and I'll just say this, and I made a post about it on, I reshared it. You know, whenever there's a crime and it happens, and I mean, and again, I just want to, and I'm speaking this because I have to say this. Whenever there's a crime that takes place in the Black community, they are always quick to identify the race of the person. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, Chief Schmatter, when he did his interview, he said it was a white male in his 30s. He instantly came out and said who didn't know who the name. But when WOWT shared it, there was like man in his 30s. No. White man in his 30s. Make sure you identify the person the same way that you identify when we had those two Black bank robbers. You were quick, even though we didn't know their faces yet, but we knew they were two Black men before we saw their faces. You know, so we still have a ways to go when they're reporting on things. The comments that I saw, you know, crime, I hope people understand that crime can travel anywhere. Crime doesn't just happen in the urban communities. People drive. And this really now speaks about that bill that they talked about recently with sharing these guns. Now there's somebody walking a Target with an AR-15, man. And, you know, and the police, the respondent, like he said, this is a prime example. When you have an active shooter, you go right in. You don't wait like they did in Texas. You go in because that's your job is to go in and to make sure that no one else is harmed. And so, you know.
Now let me ask you a question about the law right now, because it's not against the law to have open carry in Nebraska. Is that right? I don't. He legally could walk in.
Yes. You can legally. Yes, you can. I think because that's the problem we had when people was walking in the legislature with those guns. That was terrible.
So you know, to me, those are the kind of questions that go through my mind. If it's legal, you know, what they're debating right now with that one bill is to be able to walk in with a concealed carry and not have, and you know, under your coat and all that, under
and they
your seat.
Be able to do that.
Right. So because right now the law is that you can have a open carry. So technically by the law he could walk in with that AR-15 into the mall like that. He must have been. Nobody got hurt, so he didn't shoot anybody, but he must have been firing it off or something for them to come in and decide they're just going to shoot him, or there was some kind of standoff or some kind of something. Because if it was just coming to, you know, if he was just walking in there with a gun, then technically that's legal.
But anytime that's legal. But when you start shooting,
well, that's what I'm saying. He had to start.
There was shots fired. That's why the police were called. There were shots fired.
That's what witnesses said, or that's what the police said?
That's what people at the Target said. They heard the young lady who was an employee was in the bathroom and heard shots. There was people in the toys department who said they heard shots that went off, and then that's when the police came in. But they heard the shots go off. Okay. The young lady at Target was in there. She said she was terrified. She was holding on to the toilet with her feet up because she did not want to be seen, because she didn't know someone was going to come in that bathroom. So whoever this young man is, he and shots, and that's when all the calls, and in total they got 29 calls into the police department. into the sheriff's department to go. So again, you just don't walk in a time we're in right now. You just don't walk in the stores with AR-15s just hanging off you and like you going in to buy some potato chips or some bleach.
Well, I've seen people do just that. I've been in situations where guys were standing there with AR-15 strapped to them, ordering a Subway sandwich. So that's what I'm saying. They always are trying to prove a point out here in Nebraska about all that kind of mess. Amy Huffles in the chat said they found casing, so there was a shooting. I wasn't aware. I didn't know if the witnesses were heard the police shooting or if they heard some shots before the police got there. So it sounds like that was the case. She said they did a bunch of sweeps to make sure nobody was hit. There were shots. I saw reports that they were there in 6 minutes and they were there and the guy was dead within 6 minutes. So within 6 minutes of calls coming in. So
I was about to say something, but I caught myself. I was about to quote Dougie Fresh.
Huh? You said what?
I was about to quote Dougie Fresh.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm glad you caught yourself. So anyway, yeah, we don't usually talk about shootings and stuff like that. Yeah. This one made national news. This is relevant right now because of these bills. We just had the senators on that talked about the gun day that they had, where they spent all day long talking about it, and there was 100 people there or something crazy. They had so many Second Amendment proponent, people that came in talking about. I guess the bill was just can we just not walk up into the courtroom with guns on us?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, but you can't in Douglas County, if I'm not mistaken, and somebody correct me, you can't walk into Douglas County. Douglas County has metal detectors in the courthouse. You have in the state capitol, there's no metal detectors, so you could just walk freely around.
If you have a gun that you're displaying, you can do that because it's open carry.
According to Nebraska Revised Statute 28-1204, any person who possesses a firearm in a school, on school grounds, in a school-owned vehicle, or at a school-sponsored activity or athletic event is guilty of the offense of unlawful possession of a firearm in a school. Unlawful possession of a firearm in a school is a class 4 felony. Yeah, under prohibited areas, it looks like school is kind of the only place that's prohibited.
So all I'm gonna say this: it's a touchy situation. I'll say this, that no one is trying to. I feel people who have legal guns, and no one's trying to take your guns. We're just trying to have stricter gun laws to keep people from having mass shootings and going in and we notice normally there's mass shootings. It's normally communities of color. It's normally children. It's normally some type of religious thing. It's really sad. But I do want to say this because I always think about, you always have to think about the victim's family. So I do think about that young man's family, because at the end of the day, I don't know who he is, but he was loved by somebody. And so the fact that his life ended in that manner, hopefully there's a full investigation. Cameras in Target, as we know, Target has very good surveillance cameras. Those cameras will be able to tell the story. But again, I do want to make sure that I acknowledge his family, because again, as we're grieving and have a fear that's going on with these mass shootings, we have a family now grieving because they lost their loved one due to anything that could have been going on with him. We don't know him. We don't know his story. So I'm going to just leave it at that.
Very true. Very true. Appreciate that. We brought it up today because we were wondering from the chat chimers what everybody did. Because when I got a little thing on my phone and somebody said something, the first thing I did was start calling around the family members and seeing where everybody was at. And you know, is that how everybody else was doing things? Pretty much.
I got a call because, you know, again, I love Target, but they knew I only go out there to that Target if I'm looking for something particular. And they normally don't have a big Black History Month display, so they know I wasn't out there. And normally I might hit out there if I'm at Lakeside or something, you know, because they have a good clearance. Just let y'all know. But yeah, I did get a call, but I did tell my daughter once I figured out what Target it was. You know, my chair, Jane Klebb, called me. She texted me, don't go to Target. I said, I'm already in Philadelphia. She said, oh, okay. You know, because she didn't know what Target, because again, I go there. I called my daughter, don't go to Target. Like, kind of ease up a minute. But but you didn't know if it was something that was targeted to an actual store. So yeah, people were calling. I always, every time there's some crime, I always look at my daughter's location. I look to find out where she's at before I call her. I look myself to see where she's at, and then I make that call.
It's a good idea.
Very good idea. Amy Huffler says, I called my family to get their location for sure. Yeah, so we all kind of had the same notion to do that. Just to jump back to some things we were talking about before you came on. I want to get your opinion on some of these things too. Amy Huffler, we were talking about the school bill that was highly debated yesterday, about giving the parents a situation where they can go in and kind of change some curriculum around if that's what they want to do for their child and so on. And we left off on a little bit of a debate about what was important about the about charter schools, about whether or not we ought to have private schools or black and brown charter schools. Also in the chat, they were talking about, like Amy Huffler says, the base curriculum should at least touch on the factual basics of Native and Black history and culture. Elective classes can offer more details of each, in my opinion. I agree, but we're living in a time right now where they're trying to take that education away on all kinds of different levels. Brooke says Sesame Street did it. These are the people in my neighborhood. It's essential for kids to know about people they live amongst as well as their history, since it's all part of American history. Very true. So we were kind of talking about charter schools, private schools, and the responsibility of public schools, and whether or not this bill is a good or a bad thing. What are you thinking?
So number one, I do not support charter schools. I'll just put it out there, very point blank.
How come?
I don't believe in charter schools. Number one, I feel that charter schools can mandate and make their numbers look good. Basically, if a student does not fit their model and is not forming to what they're doing, they can then send that child back to public school and let public school have the issue with the child. So if you have a child with some type of behavior issues, I feel like they don't have to have that same mandate. They have somewhere to ship the kid off to, so they can say, oh, you know what, this child's not a good fit for what we have going. It might be best for he or she to be, back in public school. That's my personal opinion. So basically their numbers can look good, and their graduation rates will look really nice, because again, these children that don't form to their model can be sent back to behavior. I say kids with behavioral issues can be sent back to public schools. So I've always been against it. Taylor went to private school 1 year, and let me tell you, it was the most cultural thing. She went to Catholic school, and I was like, no, I can't do it. But charter schools in Nebraska are not public schools. Because they have a lottery system. The kids have to be chosen. They have to go through a thing. Again, I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to go. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm not a parent. I'm a parent, but my kid's out of school. I don't have to deal with this no more. This is my personal opinion. This is how I feel. These are the thoughts of Precious McKesson. I don't believe in charter schools, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Well, Marianne Williams says charter schools are public schools, not private. You're saying they're private schools, not
they're
public.
not private schools, but I'm just saying charter schools, private schools, either one. I mean, even if they are public school, you still got to go through a system to get your kid into certain charter schools. I saw my sister have to go through a full lottery in the state in DC. It was horrible to be able to get her daughter into a school, because they're all charter schools. So they still have to have the option of sending their kids out of. They don't have to accept all kids into their school. They just don't. Just because a charter school is there does not mean that they have to accept. You don't just say, oh, that's your school, you have to go there. That they don't have to.
So kids will fall through the cracks.
I do feel that way. But again, every school is different. And again, and I'll say this, a parent, you get in public school what you get out of public schools what you put in. And I'm a prime example of that. I'm a single mother. My mom raised 3 kids into OPS. I'm a single mother. I've never a single. When I say single, I mean single. Daddy just there. That's just what he is. I put into my daughter's education. I started her at an early age, at 3 years old in Head Start. I followed her education heavily, attended everything I can. And I know everybody doesn't have that, but I made that my priority to make sure that she got what she got out of high school, or out of her education. And my daughter came out the way she did. I pushed for her education. I remember when my daughter was doing a reading class, they told my baby that they was like, oh, she's not on reading level, she can't read. And I was like, what? This kid is reading all the time. Like, what are you talking about? And then look at her now. I mean, she was senior class president. She came out top of her class, went to, at Creighton, you know. But again, I feel we what you put in is what you get out. So we have to do that. And now when it comes to parents having the option for their education, I mean for their like the curriculum, I think that's going to be a fine line, because then you're going to have parents coming in and then saying, well, they can't learn this, they can't learn it. It's kind of like I feel like they're in a path where Florida went, but they just can't do. They know if they come in and say we're pulling all African American history, even though they're trying to do like you can't have this AP class, you can't have this. I think it'll cause a big uproar. So it's like now you're giving parents the option, which every parent should have the option of what their child is teaching. But the fact now that we'll have parents who be like, oh, they don't need to learn that, and pull them out of classes, certain classes, you know. I was just learning just the other day. I was talking to a friend. There's people in these small towns. Wait a minute, which town is? No, actually, it's here. Yeah, there's people in this state who are going to these small town libraries, y'all, and checking out all the books that have to pertain to Black history and not returning them. They're clearing out the libraries. So they're not taking the books off the shelves. They're not banning the books. You have people mobilizing in cities around Nebraska, going in, taking these books out the library. And not
that's organized. That's an organized effort.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, buddy?
Said that's organized. That's an organized effort.
So yeah, I mean, with the fact that there is such a war on education right now when it comes to those things, you know, certain states not wanting to teach about Martin Luther King, even and stuff like that. I mean, you know, what's the question is, what is the responsibility of the public school system? I don't necessarily think, you know, jumping to charters or privates is going to solve that problem. It'll solve some problems. I'm quite sure. But this whole thing where the majority of the kids are in public school, and they're trying to take out curriculum and pick and choose curriculum, it just seems like it's more of the same. They want to control what teachers are doing more, which is their goal from the jump.
Yeah, but we also have to support these teachers. You know, I mean, I feel like why they arguing about, you know, and I should say arguing, but they're debating about giving all this money to these different, you know, private entities. Why are we discussing the pay rates for these teachers?
Man,
of what they got to take on. Like that should be the number one thing. Y'all got all this money. If you pay teachers what they're worth, you get you'll get more quality. I think, not saying the teachers aren't quality now, but teachers is tired. But you'll get more people who want to go into that profession and actually really feel like they could do these different things.
Yeah, but it's paid, but it's also the curriculum. They're
yeah, because I think
they're given, because they have to be given the curriculum from you know, from the school board. So they also, what it is, they can teach and not teach. If you can offer them more money, but that may not satisfy their, you know, what it is that they want to be teaching and know they should be teaching, and that whole debate is still there, whether they got more money or not. You know what I mean?
I think who y'all need to bring on, and this is my personal opinion, y'all need to bring in somebody from the Omaha Educators Association or the Nebraska State Education Association, so OEA or NSEA. And I say that because you really will be able to see like what the teachers are saying and how the teachers are feeling, what they're talking about. I guess it's better to have them come on rather than a teacher, because a teacher basically, you don't want them to risk any type of retaliation against them or something. You know, they be like, well, we don't do. But if you have people who are their spokespersons, you know, who speaks for them, I think that would be very good to have. But again,
we've invited some teachers and got that response. Like,
I can get you in contact with one person that I know close who most likely would come on. He does a lot of stuff advocating for teachers and stuff. But I do feel like, again, any school that you send your child to, you're making that decision based off of what you feel, because again, the parent is the ultimate decision maker for our children's education.
Ultimately.
But just make sure that, you know, make that decision based off of what your findings, you know, and then hold those schools accountable. And yes, OPS does have issues where they need to get test scores up. They need to do a little bit more. Yes, they do. But we have to, instead of us bashing it, and not saying a bashing, not saying it to anybody particular, we have to be able to figure out what can we do to help them make it better. And that starts with us as parents raising our children to be upholding citizens and making sure that they're understanding that their job is to go to school and learn. And then we support them as well as support the teachers. Because in my house, you had your opinion, but I'm gonna ride with that teacher first. I'm gonna see what that teacher has to say. And then if the teacher is wrong, then I'll handle the teacher, but I'm gonna handle you too.
Yeah, I hear that. It's 8 o'clock right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're here with Precious McKesson, Politicin with P. We got Kimara Snipes. What's good in the hood coming up? She is sitting in the wings. We're going to bring her in on this conversation too. She used to be on the school board. I kind of want to get people's opinion about this. Marianne Williams in the chat says the bill essentially allows parents to harass teachers. One slip and they have parents screaming. So I'm gonna leave it. Also, Kimara Snipes says, my son wants to be a teacher and is choosing to teach English over history because he wants to be able to teach what he wants to. And let's let her talk about that, ladies and gentlemen. Kimara Snipes, what's good in the hood? Good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, Precious.
Good morning.
I just cut Paul off. I always do.
I was just saying. I was just saying. Good morning to you. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. You know, ready for today down in Lincoln again. So
yes,
yeah.
We'll be getting into the bills here in a second. But yeah, definitely would love to hear your input on this conversation. You kind of in the chat.
No, I gotta go.
Okay.
I forgot. I thought my meeting started at 9:30. It started at 9.
Thank you, Precious.
Thank you.
I just got an email.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
Hey.
Well, there you go. Bye, Precious.
Bye.
So anyway, thanks for joining us. I see Jonathan Benjamin Alvarado in the chat. He says, "People, how you doing, brother?"
Hey, Dr. Alvarado.
Good to see you. So happy that you're here. Very, very much so. Yeah. Have a good day, Precious. Wow, she was in and out. That's what's up. So yes, Miss Kimara Snipes. Good morning, and how are you?
Good morning.
Thank you for your attendance this morning as well. I know that are you already down in Lincoln? You're down there already?
No. I'm at Scooters right now. Yeah. Actually, I haven't been here for a while because I've been out of town and stuff. I said I gotta go see my people.
Yeah, the headquarters.
The spot.
Yeah.
So give us some thoughts on that bill that they were highly debating yesterday. What do you think about?
Before I ever, I have not read the bill. I do know that Luann Linehan, she brings something every single year. And I do know that Senator Wayne and Senator McKinney have attached themselves to this bill. And I have to go off of what I know. And I know that Senator McKinney and Senator Wayne aren't trying to deliberately hurt our kids. I know that. And so I've had a lot of, I work in this area, I have a lot of people who talk about policy around me, and there's a lot of questions. Well, why are Justin and Terrell doing this? Why are Justin and Terrell doing this? And so I really just need to have a conversation and just understand the desire. But at the end of the day, we want our kids to do well. You know what I'm saying? We want our kids to do well. I'm a product of public schools here in Omaha, Nebraska. I went to a private school for a couple of years. My mother and father had a desire to do something like that. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, it was just hellified expensive, to be very honest with you. But ultimately, we just want our kids to do well. When we talk about just, the lack of seeing us in the curriculum, we was just talking yesterday. I was talking yesterday with some friends out of the state and talking about how back when I was in high school, we started the African American Club because, the movie X was coming out. Some of us went and got the book, and the first line talked about Omaha, Nebraska, and that was our first time hearing about it. How offensive was that to us? You know what I'm saying? So, I battle with this because, our education needs to have representation of all of us, especially in a city that has, more than 120 languages spoken. But I also wrestle with, what part of that falls on us as a few different as parents, and even as community members. One of the things that we did at the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance, we had our strategic plan done last year, and one of the conversations was just around schools, because having been on the school board, I think about that a lot. And even when I was on school board, I used to tell Dr. Logan and the district, and you probably heard me say it if you went to meetings, that sometimes I feel like it's a little unfair to expect the district to do everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, these school districts do a whole lot and our teachers do a whole lot as well. So I'm always thinking of how can we be supportive of school districts through the neighborhood alliances. And we decided to start, building connections with our local elementary schools and their PTOs and PTAs. And that's going to be a part of our outreach, just to see how, we can be more supportive at that level. And the hope is that, that will trickle up as opposed to like trickle down. And so, but these types of conversations this goes back to why it's important to have the right people at the table. There's solutions out here. Because we got a lot of really smart people around us. If we can just get the right people at the table to have these conversations and talk about it, we can come up with something. But that's my 2 cents on it, without having actually read the bill.
Yeah, let me clarify that real quick too, because Marianne Williams in the chat said different bill when you were talking about Senator Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne supporting. So just if Marianne Williams, if you can tell us if we can straighten that part out.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, if their names are not attached to this particular bill, then we want to make sure that we say the right thing on that, or which thing they back. But like I said, I feel that from what I read on this thing, I go back and forth because I'm like, it gives parents more control. But I feel like it'll be used for parents. It'll be used by parents to limit what their kid, limit studies of other cultures in the trend that's going on now.
To clarify, Kimara, we were talking about LB 370. Yeah, talking about LB 374.
Bills in my head right now. So
there's about 1,000 being discussed.
800.
Right. I don't blame you. But specifically, we were talking about LB 374. But I am curious about what bill you talking about.
Oh God. Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
My computer, my whole thing went away. Sorry about that. I thought I hit the X. I hit the minimize.
No, you're fine. We still hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay. Yes, I can hear you. Now I'm trying to remember this bill number. It came up during a policy discussion about an education bill that McKinney and Wayne were supposed to be on. So now I'm trying to go back into my chat to find out which one that was, but it'll probably take me a second here.
Marianne Williams in the chat said yesterday's bill was an anti-CRT, anti-LGBTQ bill by Senator Merman. Wayne and McKinney signed into the voucher bill. Okay, so the voucher bill is the one that they were on. The other one yesterday.
Yeah.
Linehan brought the voucher bill.
And it is in response to CRT. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to look at the chat, but I can't help it.
No, go ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
Which actually started a while ago. This CRT stuff has been hysteria is an understatement. And that was starting when I was on the school board.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you believe this LB 374 is tied to that hysteria as far as, what Paul was saying, possibly giving parents more power and control over what students are learning.
Now talk to me about this power over the talking about this control you're talking about, because I haven't read any of it.
Oh, okay. What they're proposing is that they put this system in place that parents can go online and find out and see what their kids are learning, and they can eliminate certain parts of it if they want to, let them in other parts if they want to. It's giving parents more control over what it is that the kids can do, and I think this is tied to some of the money that's going in that they're trying to propose for the school system as well. But that money is mostly going out west, which is, if they're going to build these systems out, they're going to need that kind of money to be able to build those kinds of system out where you can get online and do that. And I'm feeling for the teachers as well, because the teachers are probably going to have to now report some kind of way. I mean, I think they might be already doing it, but they have to kind of report some kind of way what it is that they're going to be teaching and not teaching. And you're giving each individual parent the ability to go in and stop them or take their kid out from that particular. I don't even know how that's going to work. You take them out of class that day, or
according to this, it says parents are given the opportunity to object or withdraw their students from lessons or activities in which materials are used. But this is the important part. The bill also outlines the right of a parent, student, or teacher to sue their school if they believe the school has violated the bill's regulations parents will also have the ability to submit a complaint to the Nebraska Department of Education in their school if their school, refuses to remove library content deemed inappropriate.
That's just ridiculous.
Right. So, the nefarious reasons behind it.
Using fear tactics against people, because that's what that is, right? The fear of going to jail or something. It just amazes me again. And not just in Nebraska, in a lot of states, the links that they are going through. And here's the thing, and I was going to talk about this with the what's good part, but, we keep talking about this Georgia-Nebraska connection. When I was in D.C., my friend Denise works for Pro Georgia, and we were just talking about how, where she's at, these different cities have these Democratic mayors, and they got a Democratic senator, but what the problem is what's happening in the state Senate. And all across this nation, these things that are happening on these legislative floors, my mama used to say that people are worried about the wrong stuff. And that is clearly what I see. And just the use of the fear tactics on top of it and the intimidation, because that's what it is. Yeah. I mean, that's really what it is. And it's just really scary what is happening. And it's so much of it is just being piled on top of us. And it's a lot right now.
That woman in the chat, Ms. Erica Fell, says, I feel the education bill is in response to CRT hysteria. For sure. Later on in the chat, she says, you can currently see the syllabus and assignments online. So you can already see what the kids are going to be learning. Right. This just gives the parents the power to object, probably get teachers fired, sue the system, whole thing. Also, Ghost Listeners 402 says control is good only if you parents need advocates not connected to schools. Marianne Williams says the bill adds a large number of requirements for teachers essentially make a lesson plan, give them all the materials to which they can object to.
And so that's my question too. Like who sat down and talked to teachers about this? Who actually sat down when I talk about having the right people at the table, like even during the process of creating this bill, who sat down and talked to teachers about this?
Yeah. I'm quite sure nobody, I'm quite sure no teachers wants this to happen. So they probably didn't talk to them at all, knowing how things go in our state. Ariels 402 says parents can opt for their students to learn others' cultural studies as well as students learning their own cultures. They can opt in for that, or they can opt out. I mean, that's kind of the point of that.
I guess when we say opt in, though, I'm saying opt into what? Because already the selection just isn't really even there. So I guess that's just confusing to me without really understanding.
Well, they've already done so much work to make it harder for teachers to be able to do any of that. Like you said, they've been trying to ban books in the library. They've been trying to stop CRT. They've been trying to do all these things, and teachers don't even want to come on the show and talk to us because they're scared they'll get fired if they say anything about it. So that's already going on. And now now they're filling in the gaps with this particular bill here that they're trying to get passed because they want they want, it's just like deputizing parents. They want citizens. They want the parents to now be like, oh, and they were showing this book, so they, what I'm saying, like they're messing with the teachers. They're messing with the curriculum that way. Ghost Listener 402 says I called around many of North Omaha Group's elected officials, and they are little help. Also, Ghost Listener says some parents are at lower reading levels than the kids who is helping them read the curriculum. Jillian Post in the chat, I appreciate you coming through, says concerning 374, it's the content of the bill and the workload it will create that is not acceptable. Teachers will be barraged with complaints. So perhaps create a new position, an ombudsman person. There's that word again I can't ever pronounce right. If this, God forbid, passes, I doubt it will. We didn't never really talk about that. I kind of doubt it will too. It didn't seem to be a very popular bill in the first place, but they're trying and they're pushing, and I'm sure they got the governor backing that and everything else. So not only teachers got to come up with the curriculum, post the curriculum, but they're also going to get barraged of complaints about that curriculum on top of that. So this is tripling their job, seems like to me. Brother King says over 300,000 people voted to keep slave language in the Nebraska Constitution. Not a surprise.
There you go.
Marianne Williams says this was brought by Merman for Moms for Liberty and PNC. Moms for Liberty are behind Florida bills.
That's interesting. And to that point, there although the words critical race theory are not in the bill itself, which Merman is using to refute claims that, this is about CRT. One part of the bill does explicitly prohibit instruction that promotes members of a specific race are inherently inferior or superior, and also prohibits any kind of education or instruction that leads to people to bear collective guilt and are inherently responsible for actions committed in the past by other members of the same race. So again, this is about white guilt, basically. This is about quote unquote white guilt and people of a race, or trying to shake that.
Yep.
We definitely got this. So this is out here. This is something that we're going to definitely pick up here and talk about again. I'm quite sure, especially if that bill passes, which we hope it will not. Sounds like it is 8:16 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, and we're here with Kimara Snipes. We're seeing what's good in the hood. Put some respect on her name. She's out here doing the work. And as a matter of fact, she's headed up to Lincoln today to do some of that work. We want to talk a little bit about what's going on in your world with that, and how you're able to help people get there, and what we're doing, what we're fighting against, all them things. I know you got notes. Let me know.
Oh, I'm looking for something else. Yeah, I'm all over the place today. I was thinking about Amy too, because we've still been doing the OHA stuff.
Right.
Amy and I actually had a really good meeting with Sal the other day. I wish Amy was on here. We had a really good meeting with Sal. And I got to shout Amy out, man. She's an organizer. But we had a really good conversation with Sal from OHA. And because, like I said, this is kind of personal because my father lives in Evans Tower. So when I saw that, I was like, hold the phone, wait a minute. I'm saying we got a problem. But, we went up there. A few of us went up there. We had the security called on us, but, it is what it is. But we basically told OHA this isn't about trying to be a thorn in your side or anything like that. We always want to work with people. This was really about just seeing if there was a need in those towers and if there was a way to get people support. That's it. We recognize that OHA suffers from lack of funding, but it also appears that they just also suffer from lack of awareness of some of the resources that do exist. And so a lot of times I think the issues that exist in the city, the state, the county, really, again, go back to lack of just real proper communication. We don't share information with each other. Omaha has all these different resources. People don't know about it. Just people don't talk to each other. And of course, the issues will run deeper than that because there's a funding thing. I think there's still a lack of empathy. But I told him, I said, and not trying to be funny, but when the mayor appoints the board for OHA, shouts out to Kimmy Watkins, who's on the board, but let's get some people on there too, as well, who have some other type of experiences, like somebody who knows where resources are, but so I just want to shout Amy out for that because still continuing that and just trying to do what we do. And I can't remember even what the next steps were. Maybe Amy can put them in there, but yeah.
Well, yeah, we appreciate you guys' efforts. You guys have really helped us shape what this season is going to be more about. We're doing less headlines and we're doing more deep dives on a couple subjects here so that we can get to the action parts of those things. So we really appreciate you guys working that out. And it's apparent that we need to go this direction, and we need to have people, we need to have chat chimers and people helping us to do all these things so we can keep on rolling and doing what we're doing. So we thank you for that. Can't wait to hear some updates on that. Amy Huffless was in the chat a little earlier and did kind of break down what happened. But yeah, we'd love to hear about next steps on that for sure. What it is that we can do, and the next steps for helping the people in the first place. I'm glad that we were able to talk to some officials there. But again, there's several different parts to this. There's helping them do their job. There's legislature to help to get money to them, to get the needed money to them, and there's also us boots on the roots trying to help the individual people that need it there. So all those things. So again, thank you very much for that.
Voter ID.
Say again.
I said voter ID.
Voter ID.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
They'll be 535.
Here's the thing. They already, it's already in effect, right? Now there's this bill, this 535, and we're going down here today to testify because it doesn't really do much to address any barriers that are going to exist. I'm not going down today to testify on behalf of my job. I'm going down to testify on behalf of Kimara Snipes. My son went through a ordeal trying to get his ID over the last couple of years, especially on top of just the issues that come with trying to do the paperwork, not having transportation. You know what I'm saying? So there are a lot of barriers that exist just by having to have an ID with you when you go vote. And we already don't have to do that, and voter fraud does not exist in Nebraska. And so it's somewhat personal for me. But Preston Love, along with so Black Votes Matter and then Civic Nebraska, using his tour bus, but they only got like 2 or 3 people who signed up. You know, we recognize it is happening during the daytime, but if you are interested, we're gonna be out there in the Target parking lot over there, 72nd and Dodge today. We're providing free lunch for people before they go testify. That's happening as well. You don't have to worry about transportation. Come back around 5, depending on how it goes. It's the only bill, I believe, and they're probably going to cut the testimony down to 3 minutes anyway. So if anyone is interested, you know, you can get on the bus, you can ride with me and Wyshell, taking her down there today too. But we really want to show up and support, because I mean, we just need us down there. I've been down there. It's very lonely. But I do have to shout out the people who came down to testify for the racial impact bill last week. There was some people who showed up, Skip, and some people from Heartland Family Service. Yeah, 2 to 3 people. And so I'm trying not to read the chat. So we're trying to get some people to go down there with us. The bus will be leaving at 11 o'clock. And, you know, we want to show up, and as my mama say, show up and show out, but we need to.
So what are the other bills? Do we have a list of some of the things we're going to be talking about today? You said voter ID is going to be one of them that's on the ballot.
There's an abortion bill.
Yep.
There's one around criminal justice reform, and Wyshall is going to be testifying on that one.
So that's the one that will possibly give Ernest Jackson another trial.
No,
that's not the one.
Well, there's a couple of bills, but LB 18 is the one that will possibly give brother Ernest Jackson a new trial.
And that's one's Friday. That LB 18 is Friday, right?
Yes, but today is the last day to submit comment. So if you would like to go online to submit comment for that bill, today is the last day to do so. We can post a link in the chat for you.
And you know, I saw something about online comment, and I want to read this. They were saying that if you submit a comment on the online statement portal, know that after you submit the comment, you are supposed to receive an email with a link to click. This verifies that you have an active email, that no one is submitting multiple statements, I'm guessing. The instructions say clearly that if you don't receive an email and click through the link, your statement will not be added to the record. The issue is that this person, none of the statements they entered have ever received that email. They contacted the Capitol, and the troubleshooting advice they offered did not work. They let them know the portal wasn't working, and they were told the IT department is aware of the problem. And it seems like some folks' stuff is going through and some folks ain't, and we're not sure what's going on with that, but I wanted people to be aware of that when I read this morning. So just because you typed in your comment doesn't mean it's been added to the record.
A little glitchy.
Appreciate you giving us that piece of information there. We just put in the chat the link, and this is the link in order to make a comment online, right?
Yep, for LB 18 specifically, for LB 18. But the bill that you referred to, Sister Kimara, in regards with Wyshell, and she posted this on Friends Up, so if you are a part of that, you can go and read more on the bill. But that's LB 432, which incorporates Nebraska's Second Look Act, as well as parole eligibility at 25 years. So it changes some of the parole eligibility, medical geriatric parole as well, which is, you know, the resource or the route that they're trying to use to release Brother Ed Poindexter. So again, this is about parole specifically.
This is right.
And LB 18 deals with evidence and retrial in cases.
Yeah. Marianne Williams says, just so you know, you can comment at any time. There are deadlines for the comments counting for the hearing, but the comments are read throughout the process. So comments, even if you miss that date, just to make sure that you do that. And more to the point, I'm definitely seeing the importance of being physically there, just being there, even if you're not going to get up and testify, being in the room, because there was something that Jillian Post said earlier, keep in mind this legislative session in Nebraska and many states is encumbered with busy work to F with people's minds, more attempts to Trumpism alive, more attempts to keep Trumpism alive and well. So that's what I saw when I was watching some of these sessions. I'm seeing there's so many, Trumpers and stuff that are coming in, commenting and just sitting there in force, as if they just, without word, just came to do what the plan was, which is to sit there and force. And, I mean, there's no surprise that that's the case when we're in the state that we're in, but it's interesting to think about, just showing up, just being in the room. You got senators that are pushing for some of the things that you want to see happen, and they're fighting a room full of other senators that don't want it. So that's that fight there, and then they got the public that are coming in there in force, backing up those senators. So it's even more important for us to show up if we can, if we can get off of work or spare the time. If we happen to have a schedule where we can do that, make a day of it. As you can see, there's very important bills going on. Just stay all day and support as much as you can. And we got to kind of keep on saying that, even though that's a tough thing for all of us to do. I know that I can't get off of work today and do that, but you know what I'm saying? It's a tough thing for everybody to do, but we can figure out how to support. Maybe we'd even put some funds together to help put gas in Brother Preston's bus or do something so that we can help get folks up there and get bodies there. The senators came on and told us that they're like, man, it's disheartening sometimes when you're looking around. There's support for everything else that you're trying to fight, and no support there for us. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate you taking that time to do what you're doing. And does Nebraska Civic Table? Is this one of the missions of you guys? You guys help people get down there or help?
Yeah, so with our and keep in mind, just straight up, sometimes we building the plane while we flying it, but sometimes you have to do that when it comes to this work. But absolutely, and so with our members, we are able to provide like financial support to get people down there. We just think it through. Stuff happens, and our executive director Meg, what I'm saying, her and I sit down to start talking, or her with the policy people or whatever. But yeah, we support our members most definitely. And we also even go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You finish.
No, I said we definitely support our members, and that's through policy, but we also have like our civic engagement fund. Actually, Shell just spent the whole weekend going through grant applications because, people out here really trying to do this work, and we forget we have legislative session going on, but there's also city elections in Lincoln, Nebraska this spring. So we have a whole organizing plan for that as well.
And what are those funds for? What does that go to?
Civic engagement fund, it goes towards things like grassroots lobbying, voter registration, get out the vote. We also have a community connect fund as well. Then every 10 years, we also have funding that goes towards census work.
Nice. Okay. Good to know. I was laughing because Marianne Williams said that, just for your information, the legislative website crashed yesterday because so many people were commenting on bills.
Good.
That's what's up.
Okay. Well, hopefully, there's people with some sense. I'll just say that.
Yeah, right. Hear that. Well, we appreciate it. It's coming up on 8:30 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, in 2 minutes, tell me what's good in the hood.
So what's good? I was saying earlier, I'm following y'all's cab. What I'm saying, with this Georgia-Nebraska connection. I mentioned I was in D.C. last week. I serve on a national coordinating committee for an organization called State Voices, and Pro Georgia is a part of that. They are also a state table in Georgia. They got like a $16 million budget, and they have some of the highest direct voter contact that happens in the whole nation. Nice. And so my buddy Denise, who is with Pro Georgia, her and I had a great conversation just around organizing, just around this work. And so I'm trying to figure out a way to get her in front of my organizing people here in the state of Nebraska, just to kind of learn from her, get some of that real, just practicing that intellectual curiosity I always talk about, give my people a chance to ask her questions, because again, there is a lot of similarity that exists. So we got Cliff Albright coming up here this weekend. I'm gonna work on her too, because that connection is real, and there are, like, we say a lot of similarities that exist that we don't really think about. And so when we were talking about that state senate stuff, I was like, okay, another connection. So yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Ooh, that sounds great. I can't wait to dig into that a little bit more too. So I appreciate that. you're on our mission, making that Atlanta Omaha connection as well. So
Yeah.
that sounds great. I love it. I love it. What's your T-shirt say? I see forever.
It says "Forever Black Girl Magic." You know, it's the first day of Black History Month, but it's always Black History for me. I don't care, but you know, I got to go down to Lincoln with all my Black Girl Magic today. They gonna feel this.
I hear that.
Yes.
Let them.
Hey, keep your eyes up. Keep your eyes open on this LB21. This is something that I got talked that somebody talked to me about before, and then I forgot to ask the senators when they came on. We'll definitely bring it up when they come on Friday. LB21 adds 2 more city council members from 7 to 9 members at large. Could possibly bring about redistricting again. Why is the question? Wanda Lewis says Ernie Chambers worked hard in the past to get that changed to having each council member to represent each district. When they were voting at large, we couldn't get anything accomplished for North Omaha. So people are concerned here about why they need to be adding these why they want to add these 2 members. So we'll talk to the senators about that when they come on. I believe Senator Wayne is the one that is pushing for that. So we'll definitely ask him directly and find out what's going on. So keep that in mind when you keep your eye on that too. And I really appreciate you coming on before you headed up there and all the work that you're doing, and you up there representing. So we really
Hit me if you want to roll down to Lincoln. If you know how to get at me, get at me. You can roll.
Yeah, Target parking lot, 72nd in what is it?
Dodge.
Yeah, 72nd.
We'll be leaving at 11 o'clock. Try to get there about 10:30. Lunch will be provided to you once we get to Lincoln, right across the street from the Capitol. And so it'll be a good time.
That's right. Remind me to get you a couple more First Sky Omaha shirts so you can rep when you go down.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
All right, y'all.
You have a good day.
Bye-bye.
All right. Kimara Snipes, what's good in the hood?
Hey.
Man. Always a good time. Always a good thing talking to her, man. She got a lot of good information. Really appreciate her taking the time and getting up in the morning and coming down like she does. That's what's up.
Putting in the work.
We're going to take a quick break and come back and put in some more work right here. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
We ain't done yet. Stay tuned, y'all. Be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Say what?
In the morning. Politicin.
Salate. We appreciate you coming back, Wanda Lewis. That's the jam. Thank you, Wanda Lewis. Appreciate that very much. Also, I was thinking about our brother Benjamin Alvarado earlier in the chat. Said they're home for a snow day in Texas.
Man, snow in Texas?
I've been hearing they pelted with all kinds of hail and snow and all kinds of stuff going on. So enough to keep them home. But I appreciate you being home and checking us out. Really appreciate that very much. It's always good to hear from you. Can't wait to catch up. I'll wait until the snow stops before I come down to visit, though.
That part.
Enough of that here.
Actually, it's funny you said that because I have an article in front of me talking about the Target shooting, but on this article is a whole different video about a different story playing, and it's talking about the snow. Actually, it's funny that you said that because I was like, I just saw some about that, but yeah, I was just looking at it 5 minutes ago. Apparently, this is something real. 60 million people across 22 different states have been hit with a brutal winter blast. So, yeah. Stay careful out there, y'all.
I heard this morning on NPR that a bunch of people in Texas had their electricity knocked out because of this storm. So
Yeah.
Apparently, that brother Jonathan Benjamin Alvarado is not one of them because he was on here. He got his electricity, but yeah, got to stay home because of the snow situation there, which is really interesting, man. Never think about snow when I think about Texas whatsoever.
No. But Texas is pretty big. Like North Texas gets cold.
That's true. Yeah, I guess it is pretty big state. Marianne Williams says the hearing on the city council bill was yesterday. Wayne said it allows for less constituents per council member. He said he shares the same council person with folks who live nowhere near him. Okay, so some preliminary information there on that bill. Which one were we talking about? It was Bill LB 21. Thank you for that information there. And we'll definitely look into it some more. Whatever information you got, we'll check that out and read into it, and then also talk to the senators firsthand when they come on Friday. Jillian Post says, with regard to legislative website crashing, many of Nebraska state websites are old and somewhat dysfunctional. Could this be an underhanded way to keep the digital divide in place and keep hardworking people with little spare time and possibly poor bandwidth from adding their voice? Just a thought. Very, very well thought out thought. I can definitely see the logic there. Pop says, a friend sent me a picture of the Dallas area. It was blanketed in snow, and even 18-wheelers were being stranded. Woo! Yeah, I did see that picture now that I think about it. A bunch of 18-wheelers stranded and piled up on each other. I can imagine who knows how to drive and that kind of stuff when you don't have that.
Man, I will tell you, I used to live in Charlotte, North Carolina for some time. And there was like an inch of snow. Like maybe like you can still see blades of grass sticking up from the snow. So obviously it wasn't that. The whole city shut down. School was out. We had to wait 2 weeks for snow plows to come down from West Virginia. The apartment, like the buildings didn't. Our apartment froze. Pipes burst. We had to stay in a hotel for like 2-3 days. Hey. Yeah, man. Yeah, like it's crazy when you think about it. You know how unprepared a city can be for something like that, or how much preparation it takes, for something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be a very, crazy situation.
I mean, if you got no infrastructure for it, then what are you gonna do when it happens, man?
That part.
Even being used to drive, the first year I got in town, I slid off into a golf course because I didn't know how to drive in this stuff. So
be careful.
It is. Everybody's talking about Juanita Johnson, and she has a thing coming up here at about Creighton, the Creighton University expansion that's happening tomorrow. And there was somebody on that said that she wanted him to remind us that this was happening, so we can kind of show up as well. Councilwoman Juanita Johnson is Creighton University are inviting the community to an open forum discussing future plans for expansion in District 2. Creighton expanding again. It seems like they keep on expanding more north. Creighton University, Mike and Josie Harper Center, 602 North 20th Street, February 2nd, tomorrow at 6 p.m. All questions and concerns are welcomed. So definitely check that out. Looks like Juanita Johnson is leaving her number here on this flyer as well. You can give her a call directly at 402-444-5524 or hit her at juanita.johnson@cityofomaha.org. So let us know if you need that information. We'll put that back in the chat and in Friends of First Sky Omaha. And let us know what you think about that and if you plan on checking it out. And if you have questions and concerns that you want to talk about there too, let us know. Ghost Listener 402 says Johnson already alienated more council members. Bad for North Omaha. Give us some more information on that. You know us. We don't just make statements. Let us know where's the evidence there. Let us know what more of the story, all that good stuff. We'd like to know. That woman says it's funny to me when friends in Georgia get a dusting of snow. They call me cussing.
Why you bring this?
I'm trying to tell you, man. The people from the West Coast, it looks like death. I was like, I ain't never. We used to be able to drive up to Big Bear if we wanted to see the snow, but it never fell on top of us. And then I've had some friends that got in some tragic accidents because of going up to Big Bear in the snow. Like snow.
It's dangerous.
Death to
me.
It's dangerous. Yeah. Jillian Post says, but Governor Abbott said, I have complete confidence in the power grid. Okay. Wanda Lewis says that will definitely weaken District 2 by adding more city council members. They already tried to take No-Do District downtown from us. In addition, the new airport district will also be compromised. Yeah, there's a lot to that idea. I mean, they try to take the riverfront. You know what I'm saying? All the place with the planet, the Illuminarium and all the stuff. You know, they already been working on trying to get certain areas away from our district. So yeah, if they redistrict things because they have different people there, that sounds like a issue. So we'll definitely talk to Brother Wayne about that Friday. Ghost Lister 402 says New Creighton, formerly known as North Omaha.
New Creighton.
New Creighton.
Man, I'm looking. I'm actually trying to dig for some of Creighton's like strategic plans. I found a strategic plan that they released in 2017, titled "Lighting the Way." But I'm looking for an updated version of that to see exactly what what the plan is. Because that is something that I've been seeing. The encroachment of Creighton into North Omaha. But still, there's a lack of communication, like a relationship between Creighton and North Omaha, which is very interesting. So yeah.
Big time. I always wondered about you go over to the Highlander Accelerator, and there's a huge section there in back of where the coffee shop is, where that's a Creighton facility there too. So you always see a lot of Creighton students over there. They are always in the coffee shop. And it just, and to me that feels like they come this way. We were seeing it. We were saying this back in the Minus Old days, when you see white girls with the ponytails bouncing because they jogging down 24th Street and get their jog in, then you're like, hey, where they which direction they coming from? Where is this happening at? And it's Creighton students, man. So and just from those days, they've already built several new buildings. Like there's a building where the dentistry is, brand new building, and all up and down Dodge and coming this way. So it's interesting. Ghost Listener 402 says, ask Chris Rogers. He was with Creighton. Wanda Lewis says, what about the blue dot? So a lot of good questions. We'll definitely talk to the senators when they come on. I ran into Brother Chris Rogers too over at the planning session for the library situation. We talked a little bit, and next time we have one, we'll talk again, maybe about having him come on. That's another brother who we're always hearing stuff about. Who's he mixed up with? Who's he with? A lot of people got a problem with some of the stuff he does. I don't have a grasp on any of that stuff yet. I'd like to, though. I'd like to understand what his position is, why certain people are upset with what he's doing, whether or not some of the moves that he's making is good for North Omaha. These are good questions that we can have the brother on to ask. We had him on before, back in the Minus Old days, and we got some answers on some stuff, I remember. But we definitely need to have him back a few times probably to talk some more. So we'll see. Wanda Lewis says census states that block residents in District 2 have been reduced from 67% to 30 something percent.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I think somebody mentioned that in the chat in the previous episode. I haven't really looked into those numbers, but just kind of looking at the demographic, you can see it definitely diversifying in North Omaha. You talk about, where some of the subsidized housing, being provided is not in North Omaha.
Right.
So, maybe those in the community who were relying on subsidized housing, a lot of people, I mean, just look at it, a lot of people are out in like the 108th, a lot of, Black people, quote unquote, are out 108th, 90th, moving more so out there, not really so much in the 16th, 30th, area. So yeah. Again, I've been saying this for, I want to say 5 years now, and kind of seeing it play out. As far as the migration, like it seems like a lot of the urban cores and a lot of the low income communities are being pushed to the suburbs and pushed to the outskirts, and I'm seeing that happen here in Atlanta. A lot of the urban core, urban dense downtown, midtown areas are being renovated, gentrified, and people are being priced out, and where it used to be, a lot of the wealth was concentrated on the outskirts of the cities and the suburban areas is being moved closer to downtown, and a lot of the people are being pushed out. So we're watching it happen real time, and I'm sure you remember me saying this in the past, Paul, but we're watching that happen. That is what's happening before our very eyes.
Interesting that they've been pushing really hard to make 24th and Lake Street a historical district. In that context, I wonder what that actually means. Why now all of a sudden everybody wants to make it a historical district, because you're right. There's black folks are moving away from the area in droves. So what is this? What is that one of the reasons why they're trying to hold on so much to by making 24th Link a historical district? I'm not sure. That 16th Street area that we were talking about, they're trying to build infrastructure at. Who's living around there now? Who are the people that would frequent those jobs that they're going to be built when they built that infrastructure there? So all good questions. Wanda Lewis says Douglas County housing voucher state you have to live west of 72nd using their vouchers.
Why? Why is that?
That is interesting.
Why is that? When we know that there's plenty of housing still available, as far as dilapidated housing, like there's empty lots, there's enough houses to burn up another one to burn up every week in North Omaha. So why aren't those properties being provided?
Good question. That woman says when the projects on 30th were shut down, residents were given Section 8 to be used above 72nd, like Section 8, above 72nd, like Section 8. So again, those vouchers are you have to live west of 72nd to be able to use those vouchers.
Mm-hmm. Or the Cherry Hills area, which is interesting because if I'm not mistaken, that might have been annexed, but a lot of those areas kind of in that northwest region, kind of by Winninghoff, Cherry Hills, kind of by Northwest, those, as Precious had mentioned in the past, those aren't a part of Omaha's city limits. So some of the families being pushed out there, their vote won't count for mayor and things like that. So yeah, it's very interesting to pay attention to the movement because there's a bigger picture.
There you go. Ghost Sisters 402 says a lot of black people who worked for Creighton played a role in North Omaha takeover. Let us know how that's the case. That woman says because Douglas County is county, OHA is city. Mama God said OHA is north and DCHA is west. That woman says Cherry Hills took a lot of former project families.
There you go. And again, for me growing up, like going out to 72nd, that was a trip. Like that was, you lived out.
That was out west for us.
Right. 72nd and 90th. And now that's not the case. There's a lot of us, 90th, 108th. And that's again, in that same process, what's happening to 30th and 16th and who is that going to be for? Which again, and when you think about it, those are the 30th, 16th North Omaha. That's still the track, that is heavily dilapidated. That is, as we see, going to get a lot of the funds. But I think somebody in the chat has mentioned in the past, North Omaha is going to be used to get the funds, but they're going to, when I say they, the powers that be, the people who are writing these laws, making these decisions, it seems like are going to find a way to, make sure the people who are currently there aren't the ones who get it.
Interesting, man. We appreciate all the comments on this. Definitely add to the comments. Add them on friends of Sky Omaha when we're not live here. I'd love to hear any more information you have on any of these things. We're evergreen conversation here. We're always talking about what's going on with the housing situation and what's going on with the population in North Omaha. Period. Where's the black community at anymore? Are we still centered in North Omaha? I really want to know about these. About what everybody feels like is happening here. Wanda Lewis says soon we might not have a minority that lives within District 2 to represent us on the city council. Yeah, I don't doubt that. It's not an unreasonable fear. It's like right here. All that stuff is really kind of happening right now. Yeah. Douglas County Housing gives vouchers all the way out in Valley, says that one.
There you go. But regardless, what we're seeing is a dilution of power in North Omaha, and the concentration of people is under attack as far as the concentration of like-minded community people. Like North Omaha is being dispersed and dissolved.
I'm glad that we have Precious and Kimara on. Next time we have them on, let's talk to them through the lens of the neighborhood associations. That's also going to really help us understand what's going on in the neighborhoods, and always encourage all of us to be a part of our neighborhood associations too, because you kind of get a different kind of read when you're feet on the ground there with that. So it's a good idea to be a part and see what's going on, who's showing up to these neighborhood association meetings. what are we knowing about our neighborhoods from the ground up is a really good question. I see census data, and I don't always trust that because I know so many people don't sign up don't pass right on by putting their census data on there, so you never really know what's going on. But I guess it gives you a small idea. But I have a feeling neighborhood groups or neighborhood associations are going to know more about what's really going on in the neighborhoods. Ghost Sister 402 says Ricky Smith was in admissions. Chris Rogers with Community Empowerment Network did everything there. So another time Empowerment Network's brought up, we'll definitely see if we can get anybody from Empowerment Network to come on, talk about some of these things, gather your thoughts and concerns and questions, because we will be doing that in the next couple of weeks, reaching out to them to find out about what's going on there. And we might as well ask Chris Rogers to come back on too and talk to him a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely do that. It's 8:50 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, buddy, do we got any lightning round items?
No, that's it. That's the stories.
Okay. Well, cool. It is Wednesday. If you guys got any haps, let us know. We might as well jump into some haps real quick.
Hey.
And we got a few things going on, so we might as well get on to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, time for the haps.
What's the haps? What's happening? What's going down?
Ladies and gentlemen, time for the haps. Time for us to talk a little bit about some things that we know is happening that we think you ought to check out, and also time for you to gather your haps. Let us know what it is that we need to be talking about and spreading the word on as well. So let's jump on into it, buddy. You got any haps for the peoples?
Yeah, well, of course, today is the first day of Black History Month for some folk, at least. Of course, for me, it's 260, 365, 24/7. But the Hungry Club is honoring and recognizing today. The Hungry Club each week of February at Big Mama's Kitchen. They will be meeting to have different speakers addressing things like that. Today, Ms. Vetta Jeffrey, who's the president and CEO of the Greater Omaha Chamber of Commerce, will be speaking about the state of economics in Omaha and North Omaha. Again, Jeffries is the most recent position officer and chief diversity officer for St. Louis County before coming to Omaha. Again, she was a recent hire. She is a sister, again, from the St. Louis area. So definitely interested in seeing what her perspective is on what's going on economically in the Midwest and specifically Omaha. So again, that will be heard today. Also, they have Dr. Dale Gines next week and Dr. Nikita Okimbra or Imani, who's a professor of Black Studies at Creighton, or no, UNO. He will be speaking on the 15th. And then Miss Karen Sokpa, who's a lawyer, will also be speaking later on this month. So they have some pretty good speakers throughout this month. Again, this is in recognition of Black History Month. So again, the Black History Hungry Club at Big Mama's Kitchen, again, going down all month. That's located right there at the Highlander, the Accelerator building on 30th.
Yep. Hungry Club gets down for sure.
Yeah, man. Also, we can't forget that today, of course, after this show, Preston Love Jr. will be meeting at 72nd in Dodge for those who are interested in going down to Lincoln to assist. Also, this weekend, he will be having the Black Votes Matter Black Political Summit. That's going down as well. So again, big shout out to Brother Preston Love Jr. And Black Votes Matter, Black Voters Matter, and also our brother Cliff Albright for Black Votes Matter, who will be in attendance at that event. Again, doubling down on the Omaha, Atlanta, Nebraska, Georgia connection. And also shout out to Sister Kimara Snipes and Deidre DeJere, who will be a special guest speaker at this event as well. That's going down at the venue. That's also at the Highlander building right there on 30th Street. Lunch will be provided, as you see. There is a link to register. That goes down. What time is that? You see a time? 9 to 2.
9 to 2. Uh-huh.
Yep, 9 to 2. So again, a few things going on for us to be civically engaged. Big shout out again to Brother Preston Love Jr. For offering those opportunities. But that's pretty much what I have.
I like that the fact that we talk about this Atlanta to Omaha connection here. So it's great that Cliff Albright, who does Black Voters Matter, is going to team up here with Preston Love here. He's Atlanta Black Voters Matter, and then we got Preston Love for Black Votes Matter here. So
right.
It'll be a good one. Good, most definitely. Yep. Also, let's see. Let me snatch that off of the thing there. I was looking in the chat real quick to see if you guys had anything. That woman says, let's see. Ghost Sisters. Oh, we already talked about that. Tamika Johnson. That's where I'm going. Over here on YouTube, good morning, says, is your cousin's book at the African American bookstore yet? I don't know if it is or not. Like I said, I got a call. They were trying to make that happen. And my cousin Pat said that she would check in and make sure that some got there when she got some more copies. I think she sold out. So she was going to get some more copies and try to get them there. So if you haven't gotten it there, if it's not there at the African American bookstore quite yet, then of course you can order it on Amazon and everything else as well. But yeah, it'd be great to buy it there. I'll definitely check in. I'll check in with cousin Pat and find out if they're there or if they're when they're going to be as well. So I appreciate that very much. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, there's a book on the Deuce that cousin Pat Allen put out. The Deuce and a Quarter, the Deuce 4, man. It's all about old school North 24th Street, what they're now calling the historic district. They're not trying to make a historic district. And, this is firsthand. Cousin Pat is like the family historian. All the pictures that I've seen about stuff that's gone on in the past here in the Deuce, 24th and Lake Street area has come from her. She's had some amazing photos, and she's got some amazing stories. So definitely check that out. And like I said, I'll check and see if when it's going to be at the African American bookstore. If not, you can always order from Amazon on that one as well. So I appreciate that. Wanda Lewis is talking some more. She says to include Mayor and Chris Rogers. Let's see what we were saying earlier. We have a lot of transplants from St. Louis, she said. That includes the mayor and Chris Rogers. That's interesting. She also says it's insulting to the community in the city, like saying the people that live here doesn't qualify. They don't want people connected to the history. They want to dictate the community in the city. Interesting thoughts. I always find it interesting when they when you're trying to hire for positions, you kind of got to put out a national call for the best talent out there as well. So it's interesting when you get people that come in from different states. Sometimes that's the reason why we're trying to, if we're trying to be in the national conversation, then we need to have. Sometimes we need to put the call out for people from other places to come and help situations out, but kind of hard in certain positions because you probably need to be more in tune with what's going on in Omaha, like in their hometown, to be able to run some of the hometown stuff. So yeah, interesting stuff. Moving on with the Haps though, just want to talk. Let's see here. The next thing that was coming up. Let me see if I got the right stuff. I need to label this stuff a little bit better. Been asking about this and been getting some good feedback actually on this. I put this out on Friends of First Sky Omaha African American Professionals Day. I was wondering what it was. There was something that was striking me about it that seemed funny. I guess it's because I wasn't really familiar with some of the sponsors there. But I gotten word back from a lot of people that this has been a great thing that's been going on for a number of years now. This is the 6th annual coming up March 9th. And they also suggested the person who runs it, that we should ask them to come on the show and talk about that. And that it'd be a good interview if we do that. So I'm definitely going to reach out and get more information about this and see what's going on with it. What's the whole point of this? Of course, it's about networking and connecting with other professionals in order to do business, entrepreneur classes and talks and all kinds of things that are going on here. So we could use some of that kind of action, and it'd be good to talk to them about it. So we'll mark that on your calendars. Maybe think about checking that out, and we'll definitely have somebody on the show to talk about that when it's time.
There you go.
Let's see. Mama God looks like she's about to take off. First Sky fam, take care and eager to meet with you on Friday. Appreciate that very much. Do the DJ battle happen yet? I don't think the DJ battle happened yet. Nope. So February 4th and 5th. There you go. Culture House and Benson Theater teamed up. DJ battle is happening on the 4th and the 5th. And then there'll be the winner of that DJ battle will be performing at the Benson Theater on the 8th. So I need to kind of grab that flyer as well, so we can show what's going on with that whole situation. There's actually a lot happening there with Black History Month. Of course, we're talking about the 50th anniversary of hip hop. We're talking about Black History Month coming up. There's going to be lots of events, and I will definitely give you information on all the things that everybody's doing at the Culture House, at the Benson Theater, and anywhere else that are having those kinds of things as well. Ariel's 402 says the African American Professionals Day event could have a suit exchange or donation of old suits for those upcoming professionals.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or big suits.
If you're into wearing big suits, I'm with it. Let's see. Wanda Lewis says, I look at the statistics. St. Louis has way more problems than we do here in Omaha. I'm sure I'm sure they would be useful there. Interesting. Yeah. St. Louis got a thing or two going on as well.
Oh yeah. It's still Missouri.
Don't forget that the Omaha Playhouse is playing August Wilson's Fences. It's the first time they have put on an August Wilson play in their 90-year history. August Wilson, of course, the famous African American playwright. This is the Fences. You may be familiar with this because Denzel Washington did a version of this in a movie, and I remember going with a big group to go watch it. As a matter of fact, so this will be interesting to see. Local performers performing this. Everybody says it's off the hook. It's supposed to be going until I believe February 8th, so you still got some time to go check it out. Go support all these Black actors. I think it's going to be a beautiful thing. I don't want to miss it. I'm not trying to miss it,
man.
Yeah. So that's pretty much about it, I think. Don't forget about this very important LB18 bill. This is the bill that I think is Friday the day that they're going to be talking about LB18.
I believe so.
Yeah. So if you can journey up to Lincoln on Friday, this is the one that we need help with as far as support is concerned as well. This is the one that might send Ernest home, Ernest Jackson. LB 18 is a bill that will allow for a new trial for him.
Yep.
So if we pass LB 18 2023, we can start Ernest on his journey home. So this is definitely needed. There's no way that he's going to be able to get out of jail if they don't have a new trial. They have all the reason in the world to have a new trial, but apparently there's a bill that there's a law that has to be changed in order for him to be able to have a new trial. And this is it. So this is definitely something that a few of the chat chimers, friends of First Sky Omaha, have been working for diligently to try to get Ernest Jackson home. And so this is the time frame. Let's support him. Let's support this. Let's support the senators that are putting this out. And let's support the idea and all the groups that have been trying to send Ernest home by showing up on Friday. And as Buddy mentioned earlier, today is the last day, the deadline to email in your thoughts on this, your support on this as well. And I will drop that email deal in. Again, this is the link here that allows you to go do that.
Yep.
So write a letter, show up, all that stuff. Appreciate it very much.
Also, I do want to give a quick shout out before we get out of here to the Culture House. Beyond the hip hop celebrations that they have, they are continuing their civic education and civic engagement activities. Actually, tomorrow they will have an event called Understanding the Unicameral. Again, Nebraska has a very unique political situation as far as being one of the few states in the country to have a unicameral. So again, if you want to understand more about our political process, more about Nebraska's civic layout and landscape, tomorrow will be a good opportunity to gain some more information and some more insight. That's in partnership with Culture House, Elevate Omaha, the UNO Women and Gender Equity Center, as well as the League of Women Voters, who will be in attendance to register people to vote as well. So this is a full around civic engagement night. Definitely, if you would like to register, check out the Culture House on Facebook. Again, that's tomorrow, February 2nd at 7 p.m.
That's what's up. I love that.
Yeah, man. Put in the work. They do
good work, man. They do great work. I really appreciate what Culture House is doing and how much more they're going to be doing here too. And especially that, man, congratulations to them on getting the recommendation of getting some funding in order to open some new things and do some new things, man. Like the whole pizza shop that they have. Idea. There's a lot of stuff happening there. We really can't wait to catch up with them on all of that stuff. Is it 9:04? Oh my goodness! Yeah, we can get out of here, man. I'm just looking at stuff. That woman says, great show. Have a wonderful week full of learning and love. Drink water and be good to yourselves. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let's see. Jillian Post said, great film, great story, talking about fences. Also, Areas 402 says, if you haven't, please hit the like button. Also, subscribe. Really appreciate that. Leah Keiser says, thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for that as well. Wanda Lewis will pick up on what you're talking about. She says, if they will put everything to a vote instead of appointing people, they would be forced to select from those who live within the state, city, and community like all other positions has to be. I heard that. You got a great point. We'll continue on. We'll continue on talking about that as we go. So with that said, Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Man, of course, big shout out to Sister Precious McKesson and Kimara Snipes for coming through, definitely with their busy schedules, taking the time to speak with us and let us know what's going on. So we appreciate them. As always, love those sisters. And of course, love you. Love and appreciate all the listeners, first-time listeners, all the ghost listeners, all the chat chimers, everybody for embarking on this experience with us. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you all the same. Take care of yourselves. Check on your loved ones and catch the same time, same place, man. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. Without that, Paul B, take it away.
Yo, right on. Just want to say thanks to the Umayyad tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. And thanks to you, chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. It's always a great conversation when you're around. Please tell a friend, so we can get as many voices in as we can. Definitely join us on Friday when we have brothers Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names. Coming in for the legislative report and get your questions ready and all those good things. And don't forget to go ahead and hit that link in the chat so that you can write a quick note about your support of LB 18, which is the bill that will allow for Ernest Jackson to get a new trial so he can be on his way home. So and don't forget to having bodies in the spot too on Friday if we can to show support on that bill as well. Shout out to everybody that's going to go up today to the legislature. Really appreciate everybody who's starting to take action on these things and understanding that having bodies in the space and being able to back those bills and senators really does make a difference, really does help. It's a great thing that we can figure this out and go ahead and start making some moves on that. So thank you for everybody that's going to go join them. But remember, what street are we looking at? 72nd and Dodge in the Target parking lot. Brother Preston Love is going to be there with his bus, and he can take some people up to Lincoln today. Be there at 11 o'clock if you want to get a ride up. And it's one of those all-day affairs because there's several bills happening today that people need to really kind of be a part of, speak up for. So thanks again. Really, really, really appreciate that. Yeah, shout out to Preston Love doing the work, still doing the work, always doing the work. It's a beautiful thing to see our elders out here keeping on pushing like they are. So really appreciate that. Well, we appreciate you, and we will see you on Friday. In the meantime, stay warm, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you then. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the Red